I always tell people the money will hunt you down, but if you do it for the money, it will never work for you. So all right, so here we are, right? So I've been in this business for a very, very long time. You have been in the business. When did you come in?
My first full year was 2018.
2018. 2018. All right, cool. So now, right, you're more like one of the, you're the original, you're in the original team. I think you're probably the only one left from the original team.
Yes.
And so
The original team of 3.
The original team of 3. So we're going to get into a few things in a minute because we've grown so much over the years since we started Home and Key 4 years ago. You were one of the original members there, and we've had an opportunity to grow over 40% year over year, and you've been a huge part of that. But what I really want to talk about, right, because I have such a different background than you. I want to go into that in a minute. It's like I have a 12th grade education. I had no skills at the time. I was working in a prison and I was looking for a way to get out of that environment. And real estate seemed, my ex-father-in-law, God rest his soul, was doing real estate, and that's what kind of got me into it. But like on the other, like you're completely opposite. You came to the table highly educated, highly skilled with a great job. And then, so what got you to go to make that transition from, to share like what your background is and like
your charming ways.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so you're right. I have the student loans to prove
Yeah.
All of the education that I've had. So I was in the helping field for many years, got my bachelor's degree, a master's degree, 2 additional years of training in clinical psychology, and then a doctorate by the time I was 30. And started teaching in higher education about age 30 as well. So over 23 years now. And thought that was my life.
Mm-hmm.
Being a geek, I've always said I've been a geek. I love books. I love learning. And it's rewarding. I still do teach. But at the point that you and I met 12 and a half years ago.
You should probably share with people, like, we're also a married couple.
Yes, we're also a married couple.
Full transparency here.
Yes, full transparency. So 12 and a half years ago when we met, mm-hmm. I was an administrator at a very prominent online, very large online university.
So you're in management.
And I was in management. I was in administration. And I was overseeing 4 programs, 2 master's degree programs, and 2 PhD programs, and probably supervising at that point about 42 professors in those programs. I developed 2 of the programs myself as well. So I was in this big administrative job and absolutely miserable.
I remember.
Because of the politics of it. And it was no longer fun because I wasn't teaching. I wasn't with students anymore. The administrative politics of it were just not where I wanted to be spiritually, emotionally, professionally. It just wasn't good for me. And we met during that. And at one point you had said, you'd be great in real estate.
Yeah.
And I said, I know nothing about numbers. I know nothing about sales. And I wouldn't even know what to do. Mm-hmm. And you said, well, this business is not about numbers. It is not about sales. It's not about houses. It's about people.
That's it.
And people and relationships. Mm-hmm. And I having worked in prison settings myself, working with some pretty difficult populations and residential treatment facilities, state facilities with incarcerated youth and things of that nature. I had worked with some pretty tough crowds, and because of my training as a psychologist, I know a lot about people and maybe not always the great pieces about people. And my initial reaction when you said, well, real estate is about people and about relationships, my initial reaction was, I don't even like people. I know all of the ugly things about human beings and the things that can potentially happen. As I said, having worked in the prison settings myself and also places like the Psychiatric Research Center at Brown University, I've seen the negative sides of humans for a very long time. So you said, well, hold on a second. You might not like what you've seen, but you are great with people. And people like you because of your kind nature. So I thought about it. And as I said, your charming ways, you just kept talking about real estate. And I was becoming more and more unhappy with my big fancy job. And I decided to give it a try.
See, what I remember, so by the way, so I'm big on mindset. We're both big on personal development, professional development, right? Tell everybody like our very first date, what was playing in the car.
Yes. So prior to having the first date, though, when you had asked me on our first date, you had planned this big elaborate thing to go to Boston, to go to this fancy restaurant and this pastry specialty place. And I said, I do not even know you. If you think I'm getting in a car and going all the way to Boston with you, not knowing anything about you, except maybe a little, I did some investigatory work. It's not happening, because what if I want to get out and now I'm stuck? So if we're going somewhere local, I'm meeting you there, and we're going somewhere where I know the people that work there so they can save me if I need to be saved. Right. So we had hung out a couple of times, but the first official date in your car where I was safe enough to go in the car, I get in the car and you've got Jim Rohn, professional development CDs playing in the background. And I thought to myself, okay, the things I already knew about you were already, in my book, pluses on the plus side. But the fact that you had professional development in the car, blaring as I got in the car for the first official date, said to me, this is different than I had ever experienced. Now, of course, we were older when we met, right? So I was 40 when we met, and I had already been down the road, and I thought, this is interesting.
I remember you saying at one point, because your job was really, really stressful, and I remember this, you're like, you know what? I watch you. You get in this. And by the way, for the people listening, you get up when you're done sleeping. I don't set an alarm clock typically, right? And I'm not sleeping until 9 o'clock, right? I bounce out of bed. So like, you get up when you're done sleeping. You go work out. Then you go to work, and you're happy all day long. You come home. You're just excited about your business and about helping people, and it's like, I think I want to give that a shot. And I'm like, let's go. But now coming into it, I mean, right off the bat, right? I think part of you had great success right from the very beginning, and you had a health challenge at the time.
I did.
The very first year, you were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes.
And that first year, you did $5 million in production.
Yes, and it was only a half a year. So I got my license in 2016.
Yep.
In October of 2016.
Yep.
Didn't plan on doing anything with it until 2017. Yep. Was still teaching, was still an administrator. So I was an administrator at the very large university, but I was also still teaching at Bridgewater State University, which I've been doing so since 2000. That has never changed. And then 2 days before Christmas, 2016, so pretty much 2 months after I got the license that I hadn't used yet, I got diagnosed 2 days before Christmas. And so that sort of put a tiny bit of a damper on things. So the first half of 2017, when I was healing and changing my entire life around, which is an entire additional podcast. I didn't do much because I was focused on health and getting better and things like that. So the latter half of 2017, it was about 6 months, and there was about $5 million worth of production. And then
right from there, and we'll talk about this in a minute, because I want people to understand what it really takes. So then you go from that to $10 million per year, every single year. And then you go from that 11 million mark to 20 million last year. And what do you equate that to? Like, how did that happen? Like, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Because people, like I said, they see the HGTV thing, people showing houses, and that's a little bit of what you do.
Yes.
That's probably like 2% of what's done as a real estate agent, yeah?
Right. So I always say, people think you get your real estate license you dress up in nice clothes, you show nice homes, you make a boatload of money, and you work 2 hours a day.
Right.
And if that is not the antithesis of what it actually is, I can't even describe it. So let me try.
Now let's go back to, but you talk about going into nice houses. I remember the first
My
house that
first deal,
yeah,
my first
we
transaction.
can thank that to Vernon Miles.
Thank you, Vernon Miles. And you. I think you guys were hazing me to see if I would pass the test. I received a lead, this beautiful family that had never bought a home before. They had trouble speaking English, so I had trouble speaking with them. Tried my very best to understand what they were looking for, and they were looking for a multifamily. And because of their budget, they could only afford a multifamily in,
Rough areas.
rough areas. So my first introduction into real estate was going into the roughest areas in the city, going into 3 family homes that were very scary, and having a difficult time talking with my clients because of the language barrier. So I brought protection with me. As people might know, I always carry something with me if I'm going to dangerous places.
She's got it, guys.
So I thought, oh my God, this is the true real estate. This is not HGTV. This is not dress up pretty and show houses and make a boatload of money. This is the grit you need to help a family who is desperately trying to make something for themselves in terms of family wealth, in terms of getting themselves out of the rut of renting, getting themselves out of the rut of wasting money on somebody else's home. This is a family who desperately needs help, and this is all they can afford. It was the most satisfying closing. It was my first closing. It was the most satisfying closing, but it's not the reality that people, it is the reality that people don't understand what real estate really is.
On a day-to-day basis, but I know like you get super attached to your clients. That's why when you first came in the business, you're like, hey, I don't really have a sphere of influence, right? I don't have any. And you started out working lead, code lead generation, and built that business. And, because I have a chance to see behind the scenes, right? Like, you close, you get these beautiful messages, right?
Don't make me cry.
Oh my God. The one that the little boy was running around the house. Now
that one will make me cry.
Right. Because he was in a multifamily and you sold them, they were getting a single family house and you come home and you cry. Because you get really emotional about it.
I get very attached to my clients.
I don't mean to bring you there, but.
One of the beautiful things about this career is the friends that I've made that were strangers off the street that have called in about a property. They have no idea who you are. I've made the most beautiful friendships, long-lasting friendships with people that I would have never known had this not been my career.
And now as a result of that, though, like your referral business has grown substantially, right? Exponentially compared to when it first started. But let's get back to the real estate grind itself, right? Like, because, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
So I am by nature a perfectionist and a workaholic by nature. I learned that very young.
Yep.
Work, 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 work. What I didn't learn, and we can talk about that as well, is how to use your money to make money. I learned work, 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 save, save, save. Work, 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 save, save, save. So I went into a very traditional career, right? I racked up the student loans. I got the doctorate young. I was very professional for many years and made, well over 6 figures in that field. But the way I operate my life in anything that I do is work, 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 perfectionist, grind every day, all day. So you won't see me in the office. I'm not an office person. I like to work from home. I have a beautiful office at home. I like the peace and quiet. I can stay focused and organized, and quiet is very important to me. So the grind every day is about the mundane things that you always talk about, which are really the crux of the success in this business. It is not create a billboard, create some fancy social media thing. Hi, please hire me. It's establish yourself as somebody who has knowledge and expertise, and I would say most important of all, integrity. As in any field, pick any profession, pick any field, there is the spectrum of integrity. There are people with very little or none, and there are people with a ton of integrity. Mm-hmm. And when dealing with people, I'll get back to the grind in a moment, but when dealing with people that are making the biggest financial decision of their lives, whether it's selling or buying mm-hmm. a home or property, whether it's their first, second, third, or fourth property in their lifetime, this is the biggest financial decision they're going to do. Mm-hmm. Who they trust to do that can make it or break it in terms of an experience for them. Ask anybody who's bought a home from somebody who doesn't have that level of integrity and things have now gone wrong. They can tell you there's a difference. Yeah. Not every real estate agent or realtor is the same. And I do talk about this quite often in a lot of my videos because it's important for people to select the right person. So in terms of the grind, for me, it's you're not seeing me out at lunch with people. You're not seeing me out at social events. You're not seeing me do that. You're seeing me making the calls every day, sending the emails, creating the videos. I spend probably, just to put a numerical value on it, about 155 people per month, mm-hmm. whether it's past clients, current clients, and sprinkled in a few other folks, get a valuable piece of mail mm-hmm. in the mail from me every month. Yep. It costs me probably $550 per month to send out important, valuable, uplifting, positive things to my database yep. every month. Why do I do that? That's pretty expensive. Mm-hmm. Why do I do that? Because what do we usually get in the mail?
Bills.
Junk mail. Mm-hmm. You open your mailbox and you're thinking, oh my gosh, yes, most people pay online, so that does make me sound a little old. Mm-hmm. But, what are you getting in the mail? People text me or call me all the time. Mia, I got your mail. I got your spring checklist. Thank God, because I wouldn't have remembered to check my air mm-hmm. conditioning. I wouldn't have remembered to do this or that. People love the things that I send. And it isn't, call me, I want to sell your house. I care about you as a person. Mm-hmm. I care about you and your family. I care about your house. Here's some information how you can take care of your house. Yep. Positive stuff, happy stuff. I send anniversary gifts and cards to all of my clients for the lifetime of knowing them. Mm-hmm. They're always getting things from me. So
where'd you pick that up?
I learned it from somebody. So I'm doing the daily grind every day. I'm making the calls that I don't want to make. Mm-hmm. I am texting people that I don't want to text. Yep. And when I say I don't want to, it's because it's every single day mm-hmm. and it becomes mundane. And we talk about long-term relationships. So people think a lead calls in, they buy the first house they see.
Right.
And that's it. On to the next.
That's like hitting the lottery. Yeah.
That is not the truth.
That's like hitting the lottery. That's
not the truth of real estate. And if that's the truth of the way people are operating, they should consider something different. Right. Because you can help so many more people if you do things differently. Mm-hmm. So I've had people after 5 years of my continual calls, emails, texts, cards, gifts, after 5 years, finally feel comfortable. Yes, it's time for me to purchase. Right, it's time for me to purchase. It's time for me to sell. The timing becomes right, but because they've seen how much I care over that 5-year period, even 4 years, 2 years, 3, I've done so much good for people that originally thought they could never buy a house.
Right. It's rewarding, isn't it?
Because I've provided value over a very long period mm-hmm. of time without hesitation and without giving up. If people see that you're there for them for the entire journey, whatever time frame that takes for those people, mm-hmm. they trust you. They know that you care. You're just not in it for some quick sale or some quick buck. Mm-hmm. That's not what this is about.
It's not at all. I mean, if you approach it like that, if you just do what's right as a human being, I always tell people the money will hunt you down, but if you do it for the money, it will never work for you. So I know you have a passion about that, helping people, but let's shift into the company now, right? Because, you're the longest standing member. This company has grown. And it's like we're at a point, we got a really, really great group of people. And what do you think Is anything you saw, you were a leader for many years in management. What if, how did we get to that point, you think?
It's a true testament to your leadership. And that isn't the wife in me talking. That is a person who has leadership experience, leadership training, but a person who has seen from the ground up what you have built for people and how you treat people. Again, we're back to integrity. We're back to treating people with respect. We're back to understanding that not everybody is a good fit. Every agency, I think, in every field, really, there's a culture. The leadership sets the culture.
Yeah.
And you've done a great job of doing that. And I think that over time, in realizing which people fit and which people don't is very important. And I think the strength of a leader is the hard part, which is understanding when somebody does not fit into the culture and how then we can make sure that that doesn't occur.
I think about, and I just thought about it this minute. I remember my very first coach, and I can't remember who I was on the phone with yesterday. And one of the things he taught me right off the bat, he's like, I won't take you serious until you're willing to fire a client, because you can't work with all, you got to know when to cut, because it's causing more damage than it is good. So that's something I learned working with clients, but it has been the true with the company too. So let's wrap it up with going into, we've had some big changes. You were impacted the most. I mean, you have thousands of people in your database. We had to make a CRM change, IDX website. I mean, you had thousands of people in there, and it was rough. And then we've made this move to partner with LPT Realty. What do you feel like as an agent? What do you see that excites you about that move?
So first and foremost, it's the marketing. It's the available tools that they offer that we can now implement and utilize and leverage to help our clients understand the value of homeownership, the value of what we provide to guide them through that very important process. Again, it's the biggest financial decision they're ever going to make.
Sure.
This
Usually.
is about people's financial future. Let's not mistake that. Real estate is about a person's financial future. You're building wealth through the purchase or sale of a property.
Yep.
That cannot be taken lightly. So to that end, when you are with a client, providing that value through the tools, through the marketing, and I don't mean marketing, salesy marketing. I mean marketing that has valuable content.
Yep.
That can help somebody understand not only the value of purchasing or selling, but where that will get them long term. It's not a short term win.
Yeah.
It's a long term win. And that is helped by the marketing information, all of the tools that LPT has to offer us now as Home and Key Group.
Yeah.
And I think that that's, as we move through this transition, as with any transition, there's always the speed bumps. But as we move through the transition itself, looking to the goal of, so for me particularly too, I've dealt with everything from a $50,000 property sale to a $3.6 million purchase for my buyers. So I know, and I'm not the expert of all experts, but I will say I have expertise within the entire spectrum of probably the cheapest property to the most expensive property. There are more expensive properties around, but for me, that's a massive line of difference there. For me, I sell quite a few luxury homes, and LPT offers the luxury network, which will be very important for us as we roll out our luxury division. But also, I was spending a great deal of money on print materials. So I was coming up with all of the pamphlets and the portfolios and all of these wonderful things that would benefit really all of my clients, even the folks, the folks that are buying the $200,000 property. I'm providing value in terms of printed materials for them, as compared to also on the higher end for the luxury properties, printing out for my sellers all of those portfolios. They're not cheap. Now I have the luxury of LPT tools.
Click, click, click.
I can upload all of my photos from my professional photographer videographer who we love, who is here with us today. So
by the way, it's Javier Rosa.
Just a little. That helps me because now I don't have to create them on my own. I don't have to pay thousands of dollars. Instead, I can upload all of our professional photography, upload into LPT, get all of these wonderful marketing tools for my luxury homes, and get my sellers on board with, look, this is how we stand out from the rest. Mm-hmm. And this will get your home sold the most successful way possible.
Now, I want to end with this, and I want this to get out there because, you shoot a lot of videos.
Oh, yes.
And when I brought that idea to you, you couldn't wait to start shooting videos, right?
No.
You could. Go ahead.
Everybody knows I'm quite honest about the video thing. And when we talk about videos, I'm not talking about home videos that we do with our professional team. Yeah. What I'm talking about is the content videos. So when this first rolled out, we're almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And video started to be the thing. Everything's on social media. Everything is out there. People want to see you as a real human. Mm-hmm. And you came to a team meeting, an office meeting, and you said, guys, we're going with it. Mm-hmm. Because we go where the clients want us to go. Yep. And the population is telling us we're going to do some content videos. And I said, I am not doing that. Yep. Now, remember, I've been teaching for years. I've been in front of hundreds, thousands of people. Mm-hmm. I'm perfectly fine on stage. But creating a video and putting it on social media was not something I want to do. I live a private life prior to real estate, very private, not a social media person. I would prefer people didn't know what I was doing. That's just the kind of life I've always lived. But here we come with this new initiative. Mm-hmm. And I fought it, and I was hoping, not secretly, I was openly hoping that it would go away.
Or it wouldn't work.
Right. It's not going to work. I'm not going to have to do it.
And by the way, that's something you've been doing consistent now.
Yes.
And that very first year that you implemented it, you doubled your business.
I doubled the amount of families I was able to help in that first year of doing the videos consistently on a weekly basis 3 times. Because people now saw the expertise that I had to share. People now saw that I was a real person, that I added value to their experience, that I also had experience in the field and could share that with them and help them negotiate the best offers for their purchase, help sellers get the most money for their homes. That comes from experience, but it also comes from the commitment you have to learning. I do a lot of learning in this field. I'm constantly on webinars. I'm constantly researching and looking into the data so that I can share specific data sets about purchasing and selling homes in different areas and what that means for a person financially in the long run.
As a leader, that's one of the things I'm most excited about with LPT is to be able to tap into their coaching and training. Like there's a lot of people that, these cloud-based brokerages, they don't offer, their splits are so good, the commission structure is so good that they can't have, they don't have resources, which is so not true. Mm-hmm. We have at our disposal live trainings all week long, but everything's up in the cloud too. Like we can go research anything about everything.
Yes.
You want to learn about Canva, you want to learn about digital marketing, you want to learn about print, they have it all. Yes. You want to learn about Loop, boom, there's videos for everything.
This triggers the geek in me because more learning, more information, as you know, I'm always seeking that.
In closing out, anything you want to share with people?
Wow.
Feel free to let it rip.
So for me, when I speak to home buyers or home sellers, I'm speaking from my own personal experience growing up in the family that I grew up in and purchasing my very first home back in the early 2000s all by myself. I grew up in a family that did not talk about the importance of building wealth, but instead just worked.
Yeah.
There's a difference because when I'm meeting families now that are teaching their children about how to build wealth, the most important way, the most reliable way of building wealth is real estate.
Sure is.
And I was not taught that. And I had to sort of teach it to myself. So the first time I bought a home was on my own, all by myself, not really a lot of support. And I remember the first night I slept in that house and I said, holy macaroni, what did I just do? I was scared out of my mind because nobody taught me the value of it. Nobody taught me that you were wasting money on rent. You need to pay a mortgage, pay yourself every month. That's really what a mortgage is. And this is how you build wealth. So I started a little late in life. I wish I had started earlier, but that's okay. We're here now. So I take from that experience when I'm talking with my clients about building wealth. Oh, I want to wait. The interest rates. Oh, I want to wait. Prices. If you keep waiting,
you get priced right out of the market.
You're going to get priced out of the market. You're not building your own wealth. You're building somebody else's wealth. So I take from, you can learn from every experience. You can learn from negative experiences, what you don't want to do, and you learn from positive experiences as to what you would like to continue to do. And so my lack of understanding about building wealth as a young person has now come full circle. I now know how important that is. And I can translate that to my clients so that they understand that I'm speaking from experience and not just buy this house. This is it. That's all it means. It's not. It's their financial future. And I like to be able to bring that to them.
Awesome. I want to close this out by saying a couple things. Number one, and I say this all the time, and the agents in the office will share this, like, you're the number one agent at the company, not because you're my wife, because you're the hardest working agent that we have. And it's been awesome for me to watch you hit no experience, come into this business, crush it, continue to crush it. But I can tell you this from a leadership standpoint, because like you see it all behind the scenes, and to see to have somebody like you to support, because the company would not be where it is. Everybody thinks I'm, he doesn't get rocked at all, right? His world is perfect, and that's not at all. And you're behind the scenes, and you see what happens behind the scenes. So there's no way in the world that Home and Key would be where it was at, where we're at today, or where we're going without you. So I don't want to
appreciate that.
I don't want to undercut that because you're my wife, but
I appreciate that.
So
I always say I've got the gray hair and the wrinkles to prove the amount of work that we put into this and how important people are to us, whether that's our clients or our members. And of course, everybody that you have in the group now, excellent. I can't think of, we have the most awesome group of people. Thank God.
Well, I'm looking forward to where we're going, because we're heading for an exciting 2025. No more change.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Good.
Thank you.
Boom.